Sunday service. I don't remember what number this is. It could be 5, could be 4. I think it's 5, could be 4. You'll know by the number listed. Excuse me, first of all, I'm ill. I've got some lurgy. I did a Tough Mudder obstacle marathon event last weekend. I spent a lot of time with my friends from the awesome band Bone Cult, running around in Manchester in winter and diving into pools of ice and mud and stuff like that. And now we're all sick, so it's probably related. Sorry, that's not very nice. You don't need to hear me cough. Well, this is my Sunday service. I'm doing this today instead of actually on Sunday. This is Friday, the 28th of October. For 2 reasons. Number one, I have my lovely little mum visiting for the weekend. So I don't want to be doing it on Sunday while she's here because that's a waste of her time. She's recently released a new book, Mystery of the Midnight, which is available on Amazon. I'll put a link into the information down below this video, down here. Ooh, there it is, look at it. There's the information, because it's an awesome book, it really is. And it's killing it on the Amazon charts and stuff at the moment, which is really amazing. And the second reason is I have just got my Mac Studio, which is my first new Mac for 9 years. My poor old 2013 iMac is just struggling too much on like orchestral material and stuff like that now, so it was time for an upgrade, and I've finally done it. So my new Mac Studio is here. You can't see it, and I'm not going to move the camera, but I'll report back on how it performs. But right now I'm just in the mammoth task of moving over my Spitfire, Arturia, Heaviosity, 8Dio, etc. libraries, which is no small task. Some of the portals for downloading software work better than others for this. I mean, shout out to Spitfire and Arturia, who were particularly painless. Native Instruments, not so much as I love their stuff. It's really amazing. The portal really struggles with doing more than like a few instruments at a time for mass downloads. So something for them to work on, I guess. Not that they're watching this. That would be a little overly arrogant. So 3 things that I'd like to talk about today that I've been thinking about this week. So first of all, the question, are you working hard enough? I think it's an interesting question to discuss. Secondly, the end user experience versus the creative process leading up to it. That's more of a sound designery thing that I think I'm quite passionate about, I like to chat about. And finally, the terror of a blank canvas. It's quite a well-known problem, but I thought it'd be interesting to talk about ways that I get through that awful feeling of, oh my God, this is a whole new song. How do I write music? I've forgotten how to write music. So, are you working hard enough? I think this is an interesting question for a musician. It's kind of, there's 2 parts to that question. Really, the question is, are you working hard enough for your goal? A good analogy for this, I would say, is like getting fit. Like, we all want to be super fit and super attractive, obviously. So if that's what we were talking about, you could say, are you working hard enough at that goal to lose a bit of weight and look a bit better? Maybe the answer is yes. If the question is, are you working hard enough to have rock hard abs and a 6-pack and, you know, amazing muscles, you're probably not, unless you're devoting a lot of time and making a huge amount of compromises to get that result. So it's the same with composing, with music, with sound design, with any creative industry. You can say, are you working hard enough to do just about okay, or to make yourself happy? Completely valid. I mean, there's no shame in that whatsoever. Like with the analogy before, like, I'm never going to have a 6-pack because I don't work hard enough at the gym to get a 6-pack. And I know that. I don't have the time. So that analogy transferred back to music again. if you want to be like a super successful, top of the level A-list composer, you're probably not working hard enough. Very few of us are. I'm not. I need to work harder. We all need to work harder if that's what your goal is. So I think it's about realizing what you genuinely want, how far you want to go with your ambition in that area. And if that ambition is right to the top, then fuck it, you're gonna have to make a shitload of compromises. Like all those times your friends are out having fun and stuff like that, you're gonna have to stay home and work and learn and hustle for work. It's not easy. And I mean, I feel like we're in a whole realm of cliches now, but this stuff never is easy. And so just, I think, be honest with yourself about the level that you want to achieve. And if that level is the top, then start thinking about life changes, because you can't do that as a hobby. It's you need to make massive, life-changing, weird compromises to your life. I've made some. Over the last 5 years, I made the decision to push way harder into composing, and I've given up a lot of my social life, a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't really play video games very much anymore. I do very little other than write music and think about music. That was a conscious choice, and I'm happy with it. But that's my choice. You need to make your own. Just something to think about anyway. Second, oh shit, this one's running really long. I did say I'd keep these to 3 minutes, but we're already on like 6 minutes. Sorry, I think these are 3 quite interesting points, so I'm going to stick with it. So, second thing this week is so this is kind of a music thing, but also more of like a sound designer thing. If you're like getting into sound designing for games, I find a lot of people getting into the audio aspects of video games. I've got a real disconnect between the process of making the sounds and the music and stuff and the systems and the end experience of what the user is going to experience. The important point here is, if you're making stuff for a video game, your processes and your systems are utterly irrelevant. They're a means to an end. All that matters is the end user experience. That's what we're making. You're not making a show reel and of the awesome, beautifully laid out, well labeled Audio Kinetic Wise project or Fmod project or whatever else you're doing. What you're doing is creating an experience for someone to play and enjoy and be like an awesome, exciting memory in terms of the audio and the overall experience. So both as an audio person and as a games developer, you really need to remember that's all that matters. Just weirdly, I've met a lot of people in my journeys through this industry that will spend a huge amount of time building these intricate, elaborate, over-engineered systems for making the sounds, and then they just don't give a shit about how they actually sound in the actual game as an end product. That's so weird to me. That's all we should be caring about. That's what the person will experience, and that's what we're making. I guess there must be some kind of food analogy of like a chef laying out the kitchen beautifully and then sending shitty food out to the customer, something like that. But yeah, just if you're a new games developer, just do remember that. Remember, this isn't about your journey. You just have to put your ego aside and make sure that your focus is always on the end experience. That's all that matters. I don't know why, it's just I feel like people have kind of lost that along the way a little bit, so it's important to remember. And finally, a nice little thing to talk about is the terror of the blank canvas, which I think people know is a thing. There's the what's the phrase, paralyzed by possibility, something like that. That's not it, is it? If you remember, put it in the comments, because I've forgotten. But if you need to start a new song, especially if the brief is really open-ended, and if someone says make a new romantic sounding song about dinosaurs that incorporates steel drums, that's great. You've got loads of crazy stuff to start with. You can go from there. But if someone's like, make a moody song that feels dystopian, then you really have to kind of start from almost nothing. So I think if you've really found yourself like stuck in the mud of where to start with your track, then a nice thing you can do is, sorry, my main screen just went off, so it just got a bit dark and moody. It wasn't supposed to be ominous or anything. There we go, it's back on. A few simple things. I'd say take some chords from a song you like. Just take a Bowie song or a Nirvana song or something. Just plonk those chords in on piano, because it doesn't matter. Within 12 hours of working on the song, those chords will be completely out of it, and you'll be working on something different. I think putting a few chords into a song gives you something that you can start working from. Or maybe if you feel uncomfortable with that, then maybe just write some adjectives in like a Word document and stick it on the side. Put like steely and frosty and jungle and wet, and then just keep looking at those words while you're like looking through your instruments, making some choices. Honestly, it sounds ridiculous, but it can go a long way. Another crazy thing you can do is Brian Eno's oblique strategy cards, which I absolutely love. They're absolutely insane. I think he wrote them when he was working on the albums with Bowie in Berlin. But so picking a random one now, these are just loads of cards by the musician Brian Eno that help you when you're a bit stuck musically. Some of them are really helpful, some are pretentious nonsense, but I love all of them. This one says, look closely at the most embarrassing details and amplify them. See, beautiful. That's actually really cool advice. I don't know if these are still available. I guess they are. Just have a look online and stuff. But yeah, another good tip for breaking that stasis is, if you don't know what to do with your song, just go through your instruments and find 3 that you never use at all, that you've just like never dug into. Like, if you've got like bundles like native instruments and stuff, you'll have shitloads that you've just never used in any way, and use them. Just start with them. Even if you end up killing them, it kind of just kicks you out of that quagmire. It's like putting some wood boards down under a car that's stuck in the mud, just to help you out of the mud pool. And while those wooden boards don't need to be with you for the rest of the journey, they're just something that helped you out when you're stuck. Ah, that's a good analogy. I'm all about the analogies tonight, apparently. Shit, that's really long. It's been like 12 minutes. I'm so sorry. I think those are all points that I care about, that I hope you guys can find interesting. So, yeah, some stuff to think about, and I'll catch up with you next week. Oh, I'm getting tattooed next Saturday, so I may not be around for next Sunday. Or if I am around, I might be a bit delirious with pain, so that'll be funny anyway. I'm getting the end of my Texas Chainsaw tattoo done. I've got like a 2-foot long Texas chainsaw tattoo on my right leg, so that's getting finished. Anyway, you don't need to know that. Have a lovely evening. Happy Halloween. See you on the flippy flop.